Hello, 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 everybody. It is us. It is the Nearly Deads, Josh,
Hello.
TJ, and Steve. We are coming at you guys live from Rhode Island, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
We're always like we never know exactly where Josh lives. It's just like
Is it
uh,
West Virginia? Is it
I always
Pennsylvania?
just say Pittsburgh because I'm like it's close.
I'm in the multiverse of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia.
The multiverse?
Yeah.
That's like a nice way of saying, like, I don't know.
Or
It's-
Tri City.
it is a tri-state area. That's what
The
it's
tri
called.
state area.
Hmm.
I was gonna make like a opioid joke, but
Oh no, that's a little farther
that's
south, I
that.
think,
Oh,
than
okay, okay.
you.
We're not quite in meth country.
No.
Yeah, no, that was my bad joke. So what's
Um,
new with you guys?
yeah, we had the awkward silence. Like we're all kind of just like easing into the chair, kind of getting comfortable. Like we took a week
Mm.
off, figuring it out. Yeah, so kicking it off with the updates. Josh, you go. You go first. What'd you do
Right.
in? I guess it's been 2 weeks now.
Uh, well, yeah. So I've my semester started, so I've been very busy with school. Uh, it's definitely getting into the hot and heavy stuff now. So but it's been exciting. Um, I also have two weddings next weekend, so there's been a lot
Mm.
because I'm the best man in one of them. So there's,
Wow,
yeah, so it's exciting. There's been a lot been involved in that.
who are you the best man for?
My cousin Cody,
That's
his
awesome.
wedding. Yeah, so that's exciting.
Congrats to him.
Yeah. Um,
When's your wedding, Josh?
my wedding. Uh,
Uh,
as soon as I get Florence's number, my new celebrity crush. um, yeah. Other than that, I did some demoed some drums, and gonna keep going with that. Um, Uh, watched some shows. Like I was telling Steve pre live podcast. I finished The Boys, so that's that's a fantastic show if anybody's needs a new show to watch. Um, and
yeah,
then
basically like so the week that you all were over, it's I like to be the hype man for stuff that I like, and
mhm.
knowing that Josh and most of the band are fellow nerds like me, I'm like, have you seen The Boys or have you seen Invincible? And Josh was like, no, and I'm like, okay, well we're fucking watching it tonight.
Yeah,
I'm ordering pizza and you're gonna watch it, and you were hooked after episode
instantly
one.
hooked. Yep,
Instantly hooked.
I've heard
instantly
it's
hooked.
I've heard it's really good and I've never watched it. I know I need to though.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's just like I randomly watched it on a whim. I don't know why. I think it was during like just a period that I wasn't hyped about really anything, and people had been mentioning it a bunch, and I saw it on Amazon because it's a Prime show. But I like it because it's very much a different take on superheroes. I didn't want to watch it like because I was so burnt out on superhero stuff, but the whole premise is like, okay, superheroes are all over and they're a known quantity. What if corporations found out a way to like franchise them basically? So it's almost like the NFL or something where it's like a big company knows about these heroes. They sign them to their roster. They like trade them and give them to different cities. It's like, hey, your city's got a ton of crime. Like, if I can offer you these two uh, tier A superheroes, but you're gonna have to pay us, however million a month to have this celebrity basically endorse your city and be your city's protector or whatever. And just it kind of takes the superhero thing and combines all the like scandalous everyday see behind the stuff scene stuff. And
Yeah, it's really good.
clearly rated M for mature.
Oh yeah, it very gets a little crazy, but yeah. Other than that, and then I know we'll talk about it later, more later on in the stream. But Spider-Man's been controlling my life for the last couple days, so that's all I can think about. So
Wipe up
yeah,
that drool, Josh. Wipe up your drool.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah.
Well, TJ, did you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. I mean, I don't know. I had a really rough week last week. I'm having a, just has been a time for my family. We're going through a loss, so, you know, that's kind of what's new with me. And missed you guys last week for sure. Definitely need like all the friendship and like love and hugs that I can get right now. So it's definitely been a tough time, busy time. But I got to see my family, got to spend time with my father, my sister, and so that was great. That was really good. And got to go to Milwaukee, which is like one of the best cities on the planet. So that was a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier today, I like opened up that fact and friction file that you guys sent me like a month ago. So, I'll be working on that soon. Working on that one. But I've been like playing the songs that we've been working on like over and over and over, like trying to like get lyrics to come and like stuff like that. So that's a big part of what I've been focusing on too. I got around to mailing out some Patreon stuff today for members of my Patreon. So did that today. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about the new songs. Like they're sounding really great, like the demos that you guys are sending.
Yeah. What I want to do for our patrons is basically when we get all these demos kind of pulled together, I'm going to do kind of like a mashup, give them a taste of what's to come, and just kind of like take 15 to 30 seconds of each track or something, make one long track, and just and then pop it up there. And I think it'd be a fun way for them to kind of see like
That'd
what's on the horizon.
Yeah, I did already post like all of those iPhone demos too, just so you know.
Oh yeah. I remember you mentioning
It was
that.
like
I
on
think the
SoundCloud. So if you guys want to hear our like really, really broken down, very infancy of the songs, join the Patreon. I think it's up there on the Facebook page for anyone who's on the Facebook group to see. So go to our SoundCloud. It's also on my Patreon page if you're a member of mine. And I don't know. I feel like to some people it probably sounds pretty goofy. Like they're just like acoustic, kind of like noodles almost.
Yeah, with TJ tapping out the tempo in the background.
I didn't take anything out of those either. I was like, whatever. They need to hear like what it's like being in the room with us, like just being in the room with us, like the things that we say. We're like talking over it. We're like tapping things out. We're like starting over or whatever. So,
Yeah.
just want to say hi to Alex and to Soulqueef is here, and to Jimmy on YouTube. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and watching. Anybody else that's on the stream, give us a little hello. Tell us where you're watching from. You guys know the drill. All your friends are here.
Yeah, good to see you, Alex. And just to let you know, your question that you submitted in the Patreon is going to be the first topic today. So I'll go ahead and kind of sum up my couple weeks, and then we can hop into that. But yeah, I'm excited for us all to be back together and chatting with you. And TJ, of course, it was important to take a week off last week, and I'm glad you got to be with your family and visit Milwaukee. We always love touring through there. I hope you hit some of the watering holes that your aunt and sister would take us out to. Um, so yeah, we going off of Alex's question coming up. You know, we like to have fun and do stuff too, but in the band we also are care about everybody's personal lives and mental health and making sure everybody's in a good spot. So a needed break last week, and now we're excited to be back together. I've just mostly been working, and whether it's music or my day job, which that the day job thing has really just been kind of taken a lot of my time this past week. Not because it's like I'm working late hours or anything. It's just been so hot. Like
Oh yeah, it's super hot here too. It's like
the
Yeah.
heat
it's like
index has been like
87.
90.
It's like 90 in the 90s here.
Yeah, and so I got super lucky this most of this summer where I've mostly been doing remodels and things inside homes with air conditioning, and it just so happens that now I'm doing a lot of like newer homes being built so they don't have air conditioning yet. And man, by the time I'm like done, even leaving at like noon or 1 o'clock, that the heat and the sun just drains me, and it's like I haven't worked out in a week. I've barely done anything. Like I haven't even played much video games at all because it's like when I get home I just don't want to do anything. I just lay on the couch and watch TV and like eat or whatever. But I mean, I hope this isn't gross, but it was like one day last week, I kid you not, I drank 4 water bottles while at work and didn't pee once because it was just like I was sweating it out as I'm like drinking it.
That is
You know,
so
it's just
gross.
like so yeah, been doing a lot of that, working on music stuff too. I spoke with Josh, the director of the video,
Any
not this Josh,
updates?
and he had come by and grabbed some stuff, and he did all the story shoots for a new music video coming out on Sunday, this past Sunday, and he said they turned out really awesome. He was talking about, um, some of the different shots and um, the actor who's being the kind of ghostly character. Talked about his makeup and his outfit and everything. Um, so it sounded super cool. He said, so he'd got a shot in there. He was just trying all different kinds of shots, but he totally got a shot. He said is kind of like being in a horror movie or like Resident Evil or video game where he had it all like lights out, but then he used like a flashlight. So then he'd like as the only source of light, and then the
Ooh.
flashlight would just go by his head, so you'd see his creepy face and he'd be doing weird stuff, but it's only like
That's
lit
cool.
up with a flashlight.
It's gonna look awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he said, oh man, I'm blanking on his name, the actor who played the character, but he said he killed it, man. He memorized like all your lines, TJ, and so he got video of him lip syncing to all the verses and everything, so that he can cut back and forth and get that whole like he's in your head, kind of
Yeah.
speaking through you vibe and
This
stuff.
is gonna look really cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I did that and, or well, had that conversation with him, and um, other than that, not a whole
How
lot.
are the kittens?
I was waiting.
Okay.
Enough about like everything else. How are the babies?
Okay, two things. One after I finish here, I'll let you guys kick off the question, and I can just show y'all. I can go
Girl,
bring the
grab a
guests.
baby.
But then
Are they
until
mobile? Are they running all around your house right now?
no, they can barely walk. You see them, they're like trying. They're like reaching their arms. They're like all wobbly and
Oh
stuff. They
my
can barely move.
god. Oh.
But their eyes are open now, and they're like walking around, and you can tell mom's pissed. She's just like she'll be over to their feet, and it's funny hearing them talk to each other because she makes these weird meows that are different, that are clearly like I'm speaking to you meows, and they'll be like rolling around wrestling and stuff, and it's just like this like straighten up and get over here. It's dinner time, you know, little brats. But so I was talking to Daniel Howell, who does a lot of our photo shoots, and we're totally for fun. We think it'd be hilarious. We're gonna do a photo shoot, and so I ordered glasses like TJ's, pretty similar, that are and got like a turtleneck and a sweater vest thing,
Yes.
and basically like that Will Ferrell photo, or like so. Daniel Howe's gonna do a photo shoot of me like with the kittens.
Oh my
And
god.
so it's gonna be like me in that sweater vest, the very 80s like portrait thing with me holding the kittens, but instead of my face being that like kind of silhouetted or that opaque sort of
The second picture, like
second
it's this like
head.
elementary school pictures, like
yeah
glamour
the
shot. Like there's one
glamour
here and
shot
there's one
is
there.
me with the kittens. Second picture is Jonesy, like her head or whatever, and we're gonna make it just look so cheesy and hilarious.
I love that.
That's awesome.
That's such a cool idea.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. But if I'll read just Alex's question, and while you guys get that started, then I will go grab them and bring them in. I'm sure they'll be pissed. They're probably napping or something. But all they do is nap, so
They're so cute. I wish I could take one.
That I'm gonna convince you.
Jordan,
like,
no, convince Jordan. He like will not. He does not want one. I don't think we can get down there anyway anymore.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I'll ship one to you.
You can't ship a cat. You can fly with a cat though. You can buy a little plane ticket and bring it on the plane in a little thing.
My aunt might do that and take a couple. So anyways, just Alex, who's on Twitch right now and is also an awesome patron, submitted the question, how does the future look for the Nearly Deads, both in terms of music and quality of life? So
good question. Good question.
Yeah.
Steve says, like, take it away. I just want to give a couple of hellos. Hello to JT Rock and Roller from Kansas. That's my home state. So thank you for the virtual hug. I appreciate you. We're going to say hi to Sarah real quick as well. Sarah Stagg.
Hi, Sarah.
She's OG Nearly Dead's fam. So it's always a pleasure when she's on. And White's Wolf, Survival Skills. Let's see. Used to remodel homes. And Thor is talking about Thor. I'm going to say Thor is your cat. You definitely should upload some photos of him. Upload to the Discord.
Yes.
And you know what? Just so you guys know, we're on TikTok now. So please, if you're on TikTok, please follow us.
There's some comedy gold on there already.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I try to post a lot. I think everyone has a login, so like you guys can all post like whatever you want, and it just gets a little wacky on there. And we're a fun band, so you know, TikTok is kind of like the new thing. I'm kind of loving it. Like, I didn't think I would like it. I was like really, really like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to learn another platform. But the thing is, like, it's taking over for like Facebook and Instagram. It's like everyone is just like migrates from one to the other, you know? And like, we definitely don't get as much traction or anything on like Facebook anymore. But yeah, we need to get our TikTok numbers up.
Yeah.
We need to get our TikTok numbers. Like, it's like 15 people following us on TikTok. It's embarrassing.
Damn.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while, but there's not that many people following us. But like nobody knows we're on there. And like
that's true.
I think a lot of our fans are also like not really TikTok people.
Yeah.
You know? We have 23 followers.
I mean, yeah, it's tough. The only pro TikToker in the band was Javi. And then he sucked us all in when we were together that week.
I mean, they're getting a lot more views. Like some of them have like a lot of views, but like unless people know that like we're a band and like this is our thing, like you're gonna get random views, but people aren't gonna go follow you because they're like, why? I don't even know who you are. Why would I follow you?
Yeah.
So, oh, Alex says post the link on Discord for the TikTok. I don't even know what it would be. You know, we're just the Nearly Deads on TikTok. So, you know, just put it into that little search bar.
Oh no.
TikTok is like Vine, and it used to be called Musical.ly. So when there was Musical.ly where you could like sing and kind of like lip sync, that was what it was, and then it morphed into TikTok. So that's how I wound out with an account that I never knew I had, but I think I deleted it. Now I'm just like running the Nearly Deads one, and I'm trying to have fun with it, but I haven't posted in like a week because it's been a tough week. But yeah, I just wanted to like say that really quick for anybody out there who's not following us on TikTok, please. Are there babies?
I see some furs.
I see fur.
Some
so
furries.
yeah, I was like, I don't know what the best way to do this is, so I just got a shoebox.
Just move your camera so we can see them. So for anyone listening on the podcast, once we edit this down and it's going to be a podcast, just so you know, Steve's cat just had 5. Oh my God, they're so cute. 5 adorable kittens. Oh my God, look at the ginger one.
That's my favorite.
Oh. Are you going to take a cat, Josh?
No, I'm allergic.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's very tough.
Look at it. They're so cute. That is a pile of kittens. They look so healthy. They look happy. That one can only open one eye.
Yeah, his eye.
What's going on?
His eye is. Oh.
Oh my God, listen to their little meows. Oh my God, this is the cutest live stream of all time. This is the
Another
cutest one. Our viewership just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Let's see some hearts and emojis and hugs, virtual hugs for the kitties.
This little one back there.
The Nearly Deads podcast could easily become the cat cast. Podcasket. Podcat. Kit.
Cat.
Podcat.
Kit.
Just the Nearly Deads podcat.
Yeah.
Podcats. Podcasts. Oh my God, look how cute they are. Those little angels.
Wow.
So there's ones that are like lighter gray, like this one and the ginger are all boys. And then the ones with the really dark kind of fur. So this like one.
Oh my God.
That's a girl. And then, I think these 2 are the girls.
So we have 2.
3 in the middle.
3 boys and 2 girls?
Yeah.
Why can't that one open her eyeball?
It's just, they literally just opened their eyes.
So they're like new. When did
days ago.
when were they born? Like a week ago? Oh, 2 weeks ago?
They were born the week after you guys left. So
I guess that's 2 weeks ago. I mean, they look so cute and healthy. They look a lot bigger than the first pictures you showed us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've definitely been eating a lot. All they do is eat and sleep.
Oh my God, I cannot wait until they start their mobile. I can't wait until your house is just overrun with cats. Because I know you like didn't want any of this. Right? Like you're just like, I guess I have a cat now. I guess this is my life. And there's going to be 5 of them just like bopping all over your house. Better make sure it's safe.
Yeah, I mean, well, you remember how the master bedroom's got those steps down, so like I can kind of block them in there a little bit, so they can have free reign of that room, I think. But I don't think I'll probably give them away before, they're that big that they're crazy and running around.
They're so sweet. Do you have any names picked out?
No, I'm not gonna name them because I'm not gonna keep them.
No, they're watching you. Did one get out? Steve! Oh my God! The box just went flying. There's cats everywhere, kittens everywhere.
No.
Oh my gosh! The mom's throwing her kittens.
She's like, "What's going on?
Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
Is everyone okay?
She just picked one of hers up.
Yeah,
That's
she's
crazy.
like, I don't want. She's like, I'm taking him back to bed, and Mama didn't want him out.
Oh man!
She literally grabbed that one.
She literally grabbed it by the mouth. She's like, no, you have to eat right now. That was the cutest little tumble ever. I hope they're okay. Jesus Christ, don't
No, they're fine.
Are they safe?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
That orange one has my heart. I
This
just
one right here.
instinctively just want to name him Ed Sheeran, even though I really hate Ed Sheeran. Well, no. Okay, that's like a strong verbiage, right? I just don't care for his music. I don't know him personally. I should not say that I hate him. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Even though he is many, many millions of people's cups of tea.
Right,
But he
right.
really, he just looks like Ed Sheeran.
It really does.
Right? Not just like,
Yeah.
it's like the shade of the
Yeah,
hair.
the exact shade.
The exact shade of Ed
Yeah.
Sheeran's hair. Or Conan O'Brien. I mean, that we could call him Conan
yeah.
O'Brien. Coco.
Yeah.
There,
Okay.
no, there he is.
The-
Is that one a girl or a boy?
Boy.
I feel
It's
like
Ed.
boy cats are, well, I mean, no shade to Eleanor. I like boy cats are better. No?
Why? Jonesy's great. She's
Jonesy
super
is
good.
great. You know what? There's no male or female. They're equally amazing.
Well, I'm gonna take him back because clearly Mama wants him in her bed. She was like, "Not on camera." She's like, "You did not."
She's like, I have
pay-
not signed a
You're-
release.
Exploiting
sign
my
a
children.
Exploiting my children.
Have you guys seen the headlines today about that? The Nirvana baby is like suing Nirvana.
Yeah, that's
Really?
crazy for like child.
I think it's the stupidest effing thing. And I go on these news sites and most of the comments totally agree. They're totally like, this dude has celebrated the fact that he's been the Nirvana baby for his whole life. He's done anniversary photo shoots. He has like a Nirvana tattoo. Like he like owns this shit, right? And now
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's like, actually, like it's been like so hard to me. Like, and it's like, dude, nobody would know that that was you unless you like publicly went out there and said anything. And he's
Yeah.
like, I just
Sounds
feel
to
like all
me-
these people have seen my penis, and I'm like, dude, you were a baby, and like nobody even knows it's you.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's
Sounds to
really,
me
really
like-
silly.
Yeah. Sounds like he wants some money. That's
Yeah,
what
I don't think he's gonna
Yeah.
win the lawsuit.
No, but
I'm
he
not.
got in his head.
I just, it's like an obvious money grab, and people are making this like joke because like that's what the baby's doing on the album cover is like reaching for $1, you know, or
Yeah.
reaching for the money, and like that was the point. That was like the I don't know, the artistic meaning behind the photo in the first place, and so it's just like weird full circle moment. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Courtney Love posted something about it. She's just like, this is just a joke. Because obviously she's a big part of the estate. I think she owns like all of Nirvana pretty much.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's stupid. Let's see what the comments are saying. A few years back he was celebrating being on the album. I mean, like, yeah, I've like
Yeah,
this guy, it's his fucking 15 minutes of fame, and it was when he was a baby.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now
I've seen things, interviews. He's always been super cool about it.
He's like trying.
Super honored.
He like, yeah, or he thinks like this is the thing that makes him famous. This is the thing that makes him cool. But like, honestly, nobody would even know it was him unless he was the person accepting these interviews and doing all this stuff. It's like the general person walking down the street, like, yeah, everyone knows that album cover, but like, I didn't even realize there was a baby's penis on it for like my whole life. I'm just like, oh, it's a picture of a baby. You're not like focusing in on the little baby penis.
Yeah, what is he saying? It was assault or something? Abuse?
Something about like just I didn't have any choice in being this way, and now everyone in the world has seen my penis, and it's just exploitative. But then he only asked for $150,000 per band member. That's not even $1 million. Like, it's not like he's really going for it. It's almost like he's asking for some like specific amount of money that he
He's
like
just
needs.
broke and wants money.
Yeah, that he
Or
like.
he's into some deep shit right now. I
Right.
don't
He's
know.
like, I need exactly $500,000. I get 150 from each person. That's at least what I read, because I'm not even like, I saw the headlines and I just like rolled my eyes and kept scrolling. I was like, no, we're not doing this today. That is silly. It's just
By the way, I
silly.
think Jonesy was seriously concerned about her children. Like, I brought him back to the room and I got him in the box, and she's looking at me like, what did you do with my children?
Oh, okay. Well, don't take them away from her again.
Yeah, well, she runs away from them all the time. She's always abandoning them, especially when I'm eating. She'll just leave them there and come over and stare at me while I'm eating my food and just stare at my plate. Um,
So
so
we haven't
what
gotten
do
to
we
the
get?
question yet.
I haven't even started the question.
We haven't even started the question.
What did we get on topic?
I started talking
I
about
get-
TikTok. I was just like, hey,
Oh,
before we go
TikTok, yeah.
into the question, I want to talk about. I did like a couple comments. I would like giving a couple shout outs and saying hello to people who are logging on. Like we have Derper now. You know what I mean? So we're just
Yeah.
like, we have Sherry on YouTube. So like, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. We love you guys. And then we started being like, hey, by the way, we're on TikTok. And then it just like led. And then you came back with the cats. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
So we can get off track, but we can get back. So what's next for the Nearly Deads? What does the future have in store, both professionally and in our
Quality of life.
quality of life? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're definitely going to continue working on these acoustic songs, albeit a slow process. Not being able to, just doing it long distance. But I'm really looking forward to recording this album and releasing an album. Like, for me, it is just it's something that we need to do. It's something that I have to do on a personal level. Like, we are choosing to do this. We are deciding to do this. Like, we could get nothing out of it. It could do nothing for us. Like, we know that there's people out there that will care, but first and foremost, I think that the four of us really just want to get this music out of us. Like, we want to express ourselves. So I've been listening to the songs, have lyric ideas, and I want to write lyrics that are up to the caliber of like the songs, and we have kind of a whole different mindset than we did 10 years ago when we started the band. So, I mean, the future is looking really bright, really good, and I really hope when we do eventually release the album that people really like it, and hopefully it leads to some tours and some more shows, and like we can keep this thing going. I'm just like, I just hope in the next couple of years I can buy a house, man. Like, personally, like that's where I would like to be. Like that would be nice.
Yeah. So as far as the quality of life goes.
Yeah, like I really want like my own home studio space. I want a home art studio space. Like Josh has his drum set behind him and all of that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even have a second bedroom. Like, all of my stuff is crammed in this one room, and I love it here, but we're kind of outgrowing the space, and it would be really great to live in a really, like, a cool house with, like, an art studio, like, music, like a music room, and, like, big kitchen. Like, I've been looking at houses all day on Zillow. They call it, like, millennial porn, like, looking at houses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So let me just be really real with you guys. So for whatever reason, I kind of landed on Indianapolis as somewhere that I thought would be really cool to live. It's 5 hours away from Nashville, like 4 or 5 hours away from Milwaukee, 8 hours from Kansas, and it's not Nashville, which I don't really want to move back there. And it's like a couple hours from Josh too in Pittsburgh. Like it's like kind
That's
of
pretty
right.
close.
It's kind of like maybe like 5 or 6 hours away from Pittsburgh. I can't remember, but I don't know. It just, and like every time I drove through Indy and we played there, we've always had great shows, great fans. It seems like kind of a cool, hip, artistic kind of a scene. And also it's Midwest. So like I wouldn't mind moving back to the Midwest or the South or somewhere where people are just like nice.
Right.
I love Rhode Island.
Indy's a cool town.
I love Rhode Island. I love it. It's my husband grew up here. He's born and raised in Rhode Island. It's not like anywhere else in the universe. Like it's going to be difficult to leave, but kind of what's prompting this is the fact that we're looking for houses. There is like nothing that we can afford that is bigger than our effing apartment. Like it is like so hard to find a place, and it's so frustrating. And I'm just like, you know what? We could get a giant house if we move back to Kansas or something, or move somewhere. So I don't know. And also, it's like I've never lived there. Jordan's never lived there. So it's like this equalizer. It's like if we both move somewhere that we've never lived, then neither of us can, really, we have to kind of like learn how to be in a new place together.
Right. Yeah. Rather than
Mhm.
one person having to compromise, it's like you're taking the journey
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. So I think it would be nice, but I don't know. It'd be hard. Like his band is here. I love the guys in his band. We have friends. We have a whole community here, but it would be nice to be like 5 hours from Nashville and I could drive down there whenever
Yeah.
and go to shows and do whatever and like drive up there every weekend if I wanted to. Like it's so close. Like it's basically driving from like Miami to Tampa. It's like you can go there whenever you want. Like, so
Yeah.
without having to move there, because I don't think that's happening. So I don't know. It's random. Everyone's like, Indianapolis, what? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I've never even like spent a lot of time there, but we've had great shows there.
Well, and
Yeah.
it
That's
could be like
that's
one of
it.
those cool. There's some cool vibes there. It could be like an up and comer. Like Nashville, like before
It
it boomed,
exploded.
it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
People thought it's like, oh, it's this, Tennessee state, kind of small city, known for country music. Like, why would you
Now
go there as a
everyone
rock
is like
star?
migrating there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I
that's
mean, Indy
becoming
could be
expensive.
something kind of like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, but we shall see. I was sending Jordan, oh my God, like houses in Indianapolis. Just beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous for like cheaper than they are here. And they're like massive and they have pools and garages and like air conditioning and like you just don't find that out here. Like you really
Yeah.
can't, to get a house with air conditioning, like central air, is like 1 in 1,000. Like they didn't build houses with air conditioning up here. So anyway, enough about that. Next, who wants to answer the question next?
You want to go, Josh?
Yeah, I can go. So the future of the band, yeah. I definitely think
It's over.
that that's it. Oh wait, that was like a joke we had, an inside joke from when we were together.
No, you said the future of the band, and I said it's over.
Oh, what was that thing? Oh, now I'm getting off
It's
topic.
a joke,
but
people. It's a joke chat. Sorry,
but I'm
Sorry,
supposed
Josh.
to
I threw
say,
you off.
damn it, Steve. But I'm supposed to say my opinion, but then it just cuts off.
Right.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah, we had a joke over the last week everyone was together when we were filming the music video and doing the TikTok stuff. We had this joke that we would do these interviews and we would set up Josh with all these like really complex questions, and the interviewer would ask him the question, and then when Josh would go to answer, he would be like, and then it would cut and just cut to somebody else, and then it would go to the next question. So you would never actually hear Josh answer anything. You would just get the question set up, and then Josh just doing some kind of like pre-thought, and then cut.
That's beautiful. We should
Yeah.
make that happen.
So I basically did it to you right now, but
You did.
go ahead, Josh.
All right. Yeah. I think, like, for the future of the band, I really think that we got this kind of like newfound mindset when it comes to writing. Um, I don't know how we're approaching writing right now. And I think that is definitely uh, like a big example of how the band's going to progress in the future. Like basically just doing whatever the hell we want, kind of deal. Um, and the songs are arguably the most important part of the band. So I definitely think
Arguably.
I mean, the drummer's the most important part, but
Hey.
anyway, no, but so with that, of course, the album is definitely a big thing that we're all excited about, for the future of the band, as well as videos. Like, I'm super stoked on. I can't wait to see how this freak show video looks. Definitely definitely was a cool experience filming it and playing through it. So I think it's going to look really cool. But yeah, I'd say the future is going to be based on the album, and kind of like TJ said, regardless of what it does, for us personally, it's like a big step. It's what we all want as people in the band. So and hopefully the fans like it.
Yeah.
But I think they will. Yeah. So what was the next, like, personal
Yeah. What's
growth?
your quality of life look
Quality
like?
light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that looking like, Josh?
Yeah. Well, I would say most of the fans know by now that I'm in school. I'm in my second year of respiratory school. So obviously, a big part of me doing that was to better my quality of life. I really wanted something, not just financially, but something that I was interested in and that could cater to a musician's lifestyle, more or less. Um, so that's why I'm making those steps, taking those steps, and making those moves to, better my quality of life and, uh, grow as a person. It's been a crazy experience. I never thought 2 years ago I'd be seeing the things I see and doing the things I do, but I think it's like there's a full picture with it, like even in uh, songwriting or just musicianship. It's kind of like a full circle. Like, I don't know, I think you can get inspired by so many different things, and even just being in school and kind of going through those hardships, I guess, because it's difficult, actually has inspired me to just want to play more. I was definitely getting into like a, I don't know, when the band was sort of on a break, and it's kind of just like a stagnant, like, wasn't playing that much, wasn't, I needed to do something to shake things up, and grow as a person. So doing that has made me grow as a musician as well, I feel. uh yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you first revealed to us that you were going to school for that, and I was pretty impressed because, well, first thrown off, I was just like, "Oh, this is random." I was like, I didn't feel like I had ever heard or seen you express any interest in the medical field at all. Like,
Hmm.
it wasn't something that you talked about. I knew your mom worked in the medical industry, but I had never heard any of that. So when you said, we were catching up after a while of not seeing each other, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going back to school." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. For what?" And you're like, "Respiratory therapy." And I'm like, "What?" Okay. Well,
Yeah.
this is awesome. Like, it's been cool to see you take that journey. And
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually have, so I used to tell myself, uh almost, I hate the term backup plan. I just hate that term when it comes to like music. Like,
right, right,
like, in making it in a band or whatever. I've always had the idea, like, I was always interested in it, like that the medical field never scared me. I never, like, I always thought of it as something like maybe later on I'll look into it. But it
right,
was, a lot of it was, situational. If, like, um we were on a break, like, I don't want to say there was an ultimatum, but my mom's a nurse and my dad owns businesses, and not that I wouldn't want to get into, like, owning a business one day. I mean, that's basically what I do, but I'm not like fully invested in it because
mm,
it's a full-time, it's kind of like that's your life then, like you can't just like do
right.
own a business part-time, so it kind of, it was just weird. Like, I didn't even know that respiratory existed. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And my mom, of course, was the one that brought it up to me, because I was just feeling like I needed to do something. Um, and
Right.
yeah, it's cool. But
Well, cool.
yeah.
What about you,
Um,
Steve?
yeah, I guess to answer the question, I pretty much mirror what you all are talking about. With the new record. That's probably the most excitement I have right now. And let's see where Kingdom Heart Gamer in the YouTube chat said hopefully more music and shows. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going after. And
Oh, I
I like the
miss
screen
playing
name, by the
live.
way. We'll talk about
Yeah.
games later in this chat. But anyways, yeah. Ultimately, we'd love to play live, but everything's like a step-by-step process. And like to play live, it just doesn't feel right to just kind of randomly just like go out and just start playing shows and playing all our old stuff. We want to be hyped when it's almost like we're kind of taking a fresh start. um, Not necessarily reinventing the wheel, but we're taking the Nearly Deads, and as I've been watching a lot of Master Chef, as Gordon Ramsay would say, we're elevating it. So we're going to elevate, take the Nearly Deads, what we were, and elevate. And so I see a lot of that in what we're doing right now with the acoustic album and the new album coming up. Like TJ said, the acoustic album is something we're still working on and still want to finish, but it is a long process because this is not something that we're just crowdfunding, you know, and then like all of us getting together and just knocking out in a short period of time. This is something that is being funded by our amazing patrons. And so as that money kind of trickles in each month, it goes towards recording this acoustic album as well as other things. So, and then we're also, like TJ said, in different states, so it takes a little longer to kind of send things back and forth. But I think we got some really cool alternate versions of our music on that. It's just flexing our creative muscles and getting us inspired. I'm excited for y'all to hear the new Faction Friction that Josh just finished drums on. It's a Each one of them is very different, and we've already posted um, My Evil Ways, so you all who are patrons right now have heard it. It's up there, and it's very, very different from Nearly Dead. So it's fun, but more than anything, I'm excited for this new record. And like Josh said, it's a whole new writing process, which excites me too, because basically, like when the Nearly Deads founded, like TJ and I pretty much wrote everything, and that was kind of the core of the writing process and our music. It's from the beginning through kind of like um, the full length and some of the singles. It was basically TJ and I writing everything with our producer, and and it worked. We have a lot of songs that we're really proud of. I mean, it's why we're here now. It's what people got hooked on us. But as we grew as a band, we realized how creative and talented the other members of our group are. And
Well,
they
we
had
always
been
knew, but we just
well,
we
we
just
always
had
knew how
like a
talented they were.
hierarchy. We just had a thing, and we had people definitely telling us like, don't put too many cooks in the kitchen. Keep your core songwriters, and have everybody else just learn what you guys write. Like, if you have too many people involved in the process, it can be messy. And they're not wrong. That wasn't bad advice, but I think now the four of us are like way more on the same wavelength than any other previous members that we have had in the past. And everybody's really willing to just, I don't even, not even compromise, but just like if somebody doesn't like something, like we just move on. We don't dwell on ideas. Where our writing process is very like,
well, it's different
collaborative.
strokes. It's not a wrong way. It's just a different way. And
Yeah.
I think part of it too was before we had gone through so many members that it was one of those things where it's like, why get somebody involved, if they may not even be in the band the following year.
Right, because then it can get messy when it comes to like writer splits and like playing the songs live. Like people get really mad if they helped write a song and then you continue to play it live, even though we don't really make a ton of money. they still get upset. Like if they see you getting successful without them, like I've seen it in 100 other bands, not really with us, but like a lot of people just get really like, well, I wrote that song, so I don't want you guys to play it. Can become a
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
So
Right.
anyway, that was the advice that was given to us to like kind of negate the need for like just if something like that were to come up in the future, you know, we'll see. Hopefully things like that don't come up, because the bottom line is if you help to write the song, you're going to be a writer on it for the rest of your life. So we can't take that away from you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
And so as the band evolved, I mean, after Revenge, we started with some of those singles. We started to have more of a collaborative mentality with the writing, but I feel like it still was kind of more of those like somebody write a full fleshed out idea, and if we like it, then we'll use that song and everybody can kind of have their input on it. It was still kind of almost sort of not necessarily segregated, but it still wasn't quite as collaborative. And so with this new record, um, there was still that sort of approach where everybody kind of had their own ideas that they brought to the table, but they weren't as fleshed out. It was very kind of like whatever somebody wrote that they were inspired to write. It was very bare bones, and so we got to all get together and we all got to share our ideas in a circle, and just whatever was clicking and sparking interest, we would just start riffing on that, and as a unit kind of build on that idea to create the song. And I think the result is really exciting because, I mean, we don't have all the songs written yet, but we have a big chunk of it written, and it's it's just very what I love in music, where it's very diverse. I mean, there's heavy hitting riff songs, there's anthem songs, there's some ballad songs, there's some chiller songs. It's very diverse. Like this album is probably going to be our most diverse album, but at the same time, every track still feels very nearly dead, and every track is still rock and roll. It's like all rock and roll. It's all very nearly dead, but each one of them has just a little bit different flavor, a little different feel and vibe, and they're each their own very unique individual track. And it's great because, again, it's this isn't an album of like Stephen TJ wrote the whole album. I mean, a lot of these ideas, like the core of it, Josh brought to the table. And like however many years ago, is like Josh was the drummer. Who knew that he could play guitar and sing and write killer
I didn't
songs?
even
And
know.
now we got two songs coming up on the album that were conceived by Josh, and then built.
Conceived.
Conceived.
Sorry.
Josh,
That
had
is
his
the
little
right word, but
kitten
it just
in
sounds weird.
songs.
He had his own little kitten, and it was a great song. You and Josh and Javi also, they both play, sing, write multiple instruments. I was like, I feel like we just never even knew. I mean, obviously, I knew Javi, but not really Josh, because we auditioned him as like a drummer. So like it never really came up.
Mm-mm.
And sing good. Like, what is this? So
It's funny, not to get off topic, but I don't know if
no,
you
do it.
remember.
Get off topic.
Well, no, like just when I first, before I actually auditioned for the band, I don't know if I was like talking to you, Steve, or well, I would have been talking to you, but you asked if I had anything to send, I think, of like me playing. And I sent two songs, and it was actually I played everything. It was like my vocals, my guitar,
Look at
like I went
that.
to it. Yeah, that was like, and the funniest thing about it is I wrote those two songs specifically. I went to a local studio before I um, moved to Tennessee, and basically wrote those songs as like a business card, you know?
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so it's just kind of funny that secretly that was all me, even though I was just like, that's my drums, you know,
Right, right.
you know.
Yeah.
And you didn't
But
tell him that you wrote the songs and all of that?
no, it's
No?
just to
We're
no,
learning
it
that
was
right
just to
now.
see. Yeah, it was just to hear my drum, my
Wow.
Yeah,
We
drum
got a
style.
little Dave Grohl on our hands, and we had no idea. Josh is going to leave us and start his own gig, start his own band without
Funny
us.
you say that because the one song sounds
It is very
Foo
fooey.
Fighters.
Yeah.
Well, that's how
Fooey.
I mean, no shame. No shame, but it was like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we know now. I've known for years. It wasn't too long after you joined the band that that we knew
Mhm.
that you actually
We
played and
figured you
sang.
out,
But it
Josh.
was always like,
Ah.
we would always be very like, oh yeah, like, send us your ideas or whatever. Or like, if you guys want to write, like, we'll all write. But it never really like happened. It just never really happened. And then it was like, me and Steve just kept writing, and we would write with JK, or it just, I don't know. I don't really think, I don't know if you guys just didn't think that you could bring ideas to the table, or maybe you couldn't. Maybe we're very like, no, we're not doing this. We're just going to, because we'll go back and forth between, oh, we have to have everyone involved. And then me and Steve are just like, you know what? Should we just do everything?
Well, it's
Yeah, no,
the environment because I think it's different now being a 4-piece.
Yeah,
Because
there's
before,
less of us.
there was, we'd offer that on the table. There'd be certain members that,
Yeah.
it'd be like 2 years and one idea. They'd finally pull together one idea.
And then if
2
we
years
didn't
later,
like it, that
The
would be
same
and
idea.
throw a fit. And so-
eruption. And it's not that it's good or bad, or I like it or I don't like it. As the lead vocalist, I have to resonate with it. I have to have some sort of spark, and I have to have some sort of emotion evoked, and some sort of like initial like idea of like, okay, that's in my vocal range and whatever. And like, as far as I know, we're not trying to like all sing. So like, I don't know, for me it's like, it's mostly important if I think I can sing to it, or if I think there's potential for a hook in there or whatever. So it's like, I mean, I think I do kind of have veto power, but not, I don't think I'm that, I think I'm pretty open.
Yeah. Yeah, with the writing, well, for me, like I never got the vibe of like you can't bring ideas to the table, but like when I joined, Invisible Tonight was already written.
Yeah.
And basically the whole Revenge EP was written on the road. Like we wrote that, we like hashed that out at Javi's ranch. So, well, his parents' ranch. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like,
Yeah.
so we sort of all did write it together. I feel like that was the first time we really like wrote together, except he had a drum kit and Steve had these riff ideas, so that's kind of just how it all, it was still organic, I think, but
it all works out. But I was just like, what bummed me out about all that with the album and everything is we wrote it on the In This Moment tour, but I felt like if we had those songs and were performing them on the In This Moment tour,
yeah,
I think that tour would have done a lot better. Like,
Yeah.
we gotta, because it would definitely, Revenge is a much heavier rocky album than
Yeah.
our previous.
yeah,
We were like inspired by that tour though. I remember
That's
being
a-
like, man, but we got a great response. A lot of people really loved us. And I think mentally we're like, okay, well, we'll probably do a lot more gigs like this. And so let's write something that could fit into this. And then we did like the I Set to Kill tour, and like we had a few other tours that were kind of like that. But, looking back on it now, like, or like looking where we're going in the future, not really looking back, because I love Revenge. It's great. But looking forward, there's like a completely different like genre and a completely different like thing that I'm going for completely, that I think we're all going for.
Well, let's not
Yeah.
scare everybody. It's still gonna be Nearly Dead's rock and
it's gonna be
guitars.
nothing.
I think it's going to
but
be more
there's
so.
gonna
I
be
think people
no,
will
no bass or guitars.
Don't make them think it's gonna be like polka. The Nearly
No.
Dead polka album.
I
You're like,
mean-
it's nothing. Like,
For me, it is a completely different though. For me, like if you look at rock as a whole, then whatever. But if you're looking at it like punk influenced rock bands like Rise Against and Foo Fighters and like those kind of like strong like, I don't know. That's just what I'm going for. That's just who I'm channeling. That's just what I'm going for. Like the Billy Talents of the world and things like that. I feel like it's just not even in the same tour package as like an In This Moment or a Butcher Babies or whatever, because they're way heavier.
Oh, for sure.
Well, because In This Moment does like Motionless in White and New Year's Day and Stitched Up Heart, and I'm like, those all go together, but like we are not like that. Like we don't have like the new age goth thing going on. You know what I mean? Like we just never really. We are still kind of like ragamuffin punk kids, you know, and that's what I like about our music, and that's what I like about us, and we're just making that a little
very
heavier.
Alternative.
Yeah,
we've always been very alternative. But the problem is we've, as far as our look, how we market ourselves, and even how we used to write after that first record, I think it was always, there's just not a big alternative scene anymore. And so it's always ends up being like, well, where do we fit? Where do we fit in the landscape of rock now? And if you look at rock where it is now, like, because you do have to kind of consider these things in music, and if you're going to be an artist, you know, where's your place? Like if you go on the road, who can you tour with?
Yeah.
And so it was always kind of like, well, right now what's popular is the heavier rock, like the In This Moment, or the new kind of hipstery rock where you got the, you know, Bad Flower, those kind of bands that are like, it's almost pop, you know, it's weird, or the Imagine Dragons, you know, that kind of route. And so we definitely didn't fit into that area. So we were like, well, the closest thing we fit to is this sort of Hailstorm, In This Moment, Stitch Up Heart vibe, because instrumentally we're pretty close to that. We just don't scream. And so that's, I think, why we kind of took that direction. But at this point, I think since we're doing things just because we want to do it and we like being a band, it almost is just kind of like, we don't really care. And if we don't fit with anybody, we don't fit with anybody, you know, we'll tour by ourselves, or they can just throw us with whoever. Or if we just only do festivals, it doesn't matter, because there's so many different types of music at a festival anyways.
I mean, well, I don't want
to cut you off, but like I feel like my point is really relevant, because I've been trying to say this whole time, we were pretty much coached, groomed, or whatever to kind of do what other female fronted bands were doing. Like the bands that you mentioned that we like fit in with, we only like fit in with them because we have a female singer. And it was specifically like a thing that was like, if somebody likes a female fronted band, they're gonna like all of them, you know. And we got a lot of Paramore comparisons in the beginning, and we don't really get them anymore, which is awesome, which we definitely had to like shake off, you know what I mean, being kind of like a more alternative. But as far as bands that we are more similar to, Paramore is the one band that we are the most similar to, like it or not. Like that genre of music, we're not as heavy as the Stitched Up Heart, and that This Isn't, you know, all of that. But I feel like we were made to do that because it was like, well, because you have a female, where do you fit? If you don't want to do this because everyone's like, well, there's already Paramore, you have to stay away from this, go the other extreme, which is to be like a Hailstorm or something. And I love all of these bands. Darker, yes, darker. Like not even Evanescence, even though I play piano, like that was never even a comparison. Like when I was growing up, Evanescence was a big influence of mine. I think in college I was a lot more like darky, gothy kid. You know, I was still into punk very much, but like I was all in bands that I was like, I want to be like Evanescence. Like, I mean, Patrick H says you're a bit like Flyleaf, but not depressed. The thing is, like, it's very easy. Everyone immediately goes to that female-led comparison. Nobody would ever say, oh, you're like My Chemical Romance, or you're like Taking Back Sunday, or you're like Foo, or any of those bands. Like, nobody has ever said that, and nobody probably will ever say that. And that is just reality of being in a female-fronted band. Like, you take on this weird kind of burden of like, okay, well, the first band they're going to think to compare you to is this female fronted band because the vocal is in like the same vocal range. but I
Right.
like those
Yeah.
were never really, aside from like Amanda Palmer, the Dresden Dolls, and Evanescence vocally, none of those bands were my inspiration. My inspiration front people are like Gerard Way and the singer for the Used, Burt McCracken. So those were my main, like when I started a rock band, I was like, I need to learn how to be a front person. And those were my favorite bands at the time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just weird. Maybe I'm reading too much into it as a female, just being like, I just feel like we only were lumped with those bands, and they only said we were similar to those bands because they also have a female vocalist. Like, I would love for people to be like, oh, this band holds their own with Foo Fighters and Rise Against and Billy Talent type bands, because there's really no, I mean, like I can't think of any other female like in that category, and really, emo didn't really have one until Paramore. So, and they're the only one. They were only allowed to have one, and there was a few others, Hey Mondays and the bands like that, but they didn't go as far because everyone in just said they all sound the same. So it was something we had to battle with the whole time, like being a new band. People would say we don't sound anything like Paramore because they were actually listening to, and then some people will be like, oh, you're like Paramore, but not in a bad way. Like, but when it comes to music industry people, they don't want two things to be too similar. If they already have a female fronted emo band, they don't need another one. And it just really sucks.
It's just a part of the problem that in every business and industry, and people are trying to correct it and trying to work on it. We're all kind of video game nerds, and I listen to video game podcasts, and one thing they talk about a lot is the game development industry, and there's not a whole lot of females in that industry. And then a lot of times, like right now, there's tons of scandals because the few that are able to get into it get harassed and this and that. And so sexism is a real thing and an issue. And I've talked to my friends about it too, and it's still that way in the music industry, which is sad because there's so many female artists and musicians and female-led groups that are killing it, but they still get treated like taboo, like an enigma.
Yes,
and it's like
a gimmick or something.
Yeah, because it's like exactly like you said, talking to labels and management companies, it's like, oh, we think you guys are good, but we already have a female-fronted rock band. And it's like, okay, well, you have 20 male-fronted rock bands, so why can't you have 20 female-fronted? Because it's like they think it's a trick or something,
like they can't market it. They can't put you on the bill. Yeah. They can't put you on the bill with all these other bands, which I don't get that at all. Like, people like it just makes me mad. I mean, we're independent. We don't deal with that shit anymore, but like it used to really bother me because you guys, the fans, nobody was giving fans any credit. They were all saying, well, no, the fans won't like it. The fans won't buy a ticket if there's like this person, like, and I think sexism and all those things has a huge place in a lot of industries, and we still have a lot of a long way to go, but like most people don't care, right?
Well, I think people in general,
they're more aware of it. Like,
why would I open? It's fine. Yeah, it's
you play good for a chick, or this is a good band for a chick fronted band. Like, there's definitely a toxic fan base that was out there that would make it seem like no, you can't be a chick and be in a rock band, and which is completely stupid because Doug just said something. There's been female fronted bands since forever, and he's totally right. There's Blondie, there's the Pretenders, there's Garbage. I mean, and I'm sure, Susie and the Banshees
per generation.
Right. Well, you can name them on your finger unless you like that really broke through and are like part of the echelon, right? Or part of the conversation. For every one Susie and the Banshees, there was like probably 50 other bands or whatever. I mean, even Madonna started like playing in punk bands like in New York, like,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
it's
like,
just for every one successful female artist, you could probably name 10 or 20 successful male or male-fronted artists,
yeah,
and I don't think it's I don't think it's a thing that it's like, well, only we're less women were doing it or less women were talented. I think it's no, it's like less were given the opportunity or less were recognized, and yeah, I mean it can be frustrating and it doesn't need to be that way, but I think I think people I think people as like humanity and a culture, I think the majority of us are beyond that. And I think the majority of people are beyond sexism, are beyond racism and prejudice. I think we get
well,
it. It's the people that are that way, I think it's just they're the smaller groups and with industry issues like whether it's music or whatever. I think the problem there though is the people at the top are these older fossils that have been there forever who are still stuck in that mindset. So I think as time goes and they retire and die off or get kicked out, this younger generation of people, moving into these positions are going to be more open-minded and acceptive and encouraging. And so the
yeah,
hope is that we'll start to see a change and we'll see a lot more diverse people get opportunities that deserve it.
Yeah, I think there'll be a change because I don't know, when you look at other genres, there is a pretty good equal amount, I would say,
of
of
females and males.
female and males.
Oh yeah, rap,
When you think
pop,
country, rap,
country,
pop,
yeah,
everything, like why not rock? Like I think that it's, definitely it's this day and age there's that movement to change that. So I really think it'd be good for the
yeah.
future.
And it's like human nature to like categorize stuff. So it's like I don't blame anybody for it, but it's just like as we as humans are going through like the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter movement, and we're all kind of taking a look at ourselves and thinking, okay, how may I have been racist or sexist or something, or like just what are my biases, right? Those are things that we have to look at as, you know, white people or as men. You have to look at yourself and be like, okay, am I guilty of doing this? Because like that is just what it is, because that's human nature to kind of put like with like and have these preconceived notions. And I mean, I guess it's bias. I mean, but just take some bias training. Uh, so like there's all this science behind it that like your biases are based on like just kind of things being like the way they always were, and like unless you dissect that or think of like why do I have that belief, like you're never going to be. So it's not like I don't know. I just think it's being more aware of like, okay, so this person that puts this festival together or this person that owns this label, they are you're absolutely right that the people at the top, they need to be the ones that sit back and say, why can't I have like another female fronted band on this bill, or why don't I want to sign this band because I have another female fronted band? I mean, it's like it's just that's just kind of where we are. And I mean,
Yeah.
you got to give
Yeah.
people more credit, but also we as individuals have to do the work. You have to take a look at yourself and think, okay, is there maybe a time like, hello, bouncer at the club from like 10 years ago didn't want to let me in because he didn't believe that I was in the band. I mean, um, I heard somebody saying that maybe it was Jordan. I think Jordan was like doing my husband, you guys, like was like, oh yeah, like whatever years ago I was like taking tickets at the door for this show, and like I totally saw this girl come in and I asked her just straight off the bat, are you a girlfriend or um what? And she was like, I'm the bass player. And he was just like, oh shit. Like he had that moment of like, oh man, like I as a man need to be more aware of like that. And um even, God, I think every female lead singer or instrumentalist or whatever, I'm sure like has a similar story. Like there's at least one time where somebody I treated you like you were not in the girl, like you were not in the band, not in the girl, but anyway, I mean, and it's not like I'm not trying to be like all negative on my feminism, like high horse or whatever, but I just
I don't
think
think it's
I
that,
don't
and
think
you
that
should.
anyone's like not sexist or anything anymore. Like what Steve was saying, I think it's more people are aware of their biases towards females, thinking like, oh, you must be a girlfriend or you must not be in this band, or you, because you're a female fronted band, you guys must this, or this. I don't know.
Well, let me pedal back there. I never said that it's not a thing or doesn't exist anymore. I'm just saying, as a culture, I think we're obviously much further past where we used to be. I
Absolutely,
would say
for
the
sure.
majority of people as a culture don't have problems with women in the workforce or women making the same money or women being the lead singer of a rock band. I would say the majority of people in this day and age in this culture are accepting of that. There are obviously always exceptions to the rule, and it's obviously still an issue because we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I think as a culture and a society as a whole, we have gotten much better, and I think it's good. It's progress, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see that. Um, so
Cool.
yeah,
Well, let's get back to the
nearly dead
question.
got real heavy there for a second.
I didn't think it
Um,
was that heavy. I thought we were having a
no, it was
good
like a
Yeah,
good.
that was
It's a
it was
good
good.
conversation.
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at a party the other day, and just me being me. It's like somebody's birthday party. We're in this fancy, like, you know, rooftop bar. Everybody's hanging out and they're dancing, and I'm just like meeting people, and we're talking about like this kind of conversation, just like education and like biases and this and that, and we got on that topic because he asked what I did besides music, and um, so we started talking about blue collar versus white collar and all that, but kind of what you were talking about with prejudice, though, I like my thing. We kind of came up with this cool idea that I thought would be good. Is like, in my personal opinion, I feel like almost more important than education is just experiences and getting outside of your bubble. Because, like you said, um, like a lot of this stems from the comfort of your people get comfortable. You get used to your routines. You get used to your environment. So if you're stuck in the same environment your whole life, when something different comes into that picture, you're thrown off by it. You're put off by it, or you have walls, and you're resistant to it because it's throwing off this routine and this perfect picture that you've always known. And so I believe that's kind of like why prejudice still exists, because not because I think people are inherently bad who have those prejudices. They just are in human nature absorbed with their comforts. And so I've always felt that travel is one of the most important things anybody can do, especially if you have children or whatever, take them.
Yeah.
And I almost think it's more important than education. And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if they like sort of like scholarships almost, just like, rather than like giving somebody a ton of money to go towards education or whatever, they could have these scholarships or something where it's like, here's a set amount of money, go live in another country for a year, and whatever, you like pick the country, you pick where you want to go, but it's got to be somewhere outside of the US, kind of exchange student transfer, whatever, before you go to college, and just experience the world, experience other cultures, backpack for a year if you want, go take martial arts, learn cooking. It doesn't, you don't have to be going there on school, bounce around in hostels and just hang out at bars for a year, whatever, but just absorb that culture, absorb that experience, learn about other people, find out that humans are, we're all the same across the world. We all desire and want the same things. And I think that will kind of, I think that would be a good way to kind of like open up people's eyes and kind of make them, break them down into a person that's willing to accept other views, other cultures, other music styles, other opinions, because they were able to experience and realize it's not scary, and they're not here to hurt me, and they're not weird, and it's just whatever. They just have a different style of clothing, and different. They like eating chips and salsa instead of chips and pita or something, or hummus or whatever. It's like we're all the same, just little differences. Anyways, that's my rant.
Some people eat tortilla chips and some people eat pita. You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
At the same time.
But the point is, we all like dip
Right.
before the meal.
Yeah, no, I agree. So going back to the initial question of like your quality of life, because Steve, we kind of tangented because we were talking about the direction of the band first. So I don't know if you were finished with that point, and then if you wanted to move on to like what, your future is looking like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we've said what needs to be said about music, and I totally agree with you guys. But quality of life, I didn't have a lot on that point, other than I'm just looking forward to everyone in the band being successful with this and getting to a point where we can just like not stress about the finances, not stress about the day to day, and we can just really focus on creating and doing the things that we're passionate about, and sharing our creativity with the world.
And we really let you guys in. I just want to say, because I feel like I don't feel like there's too many bands who are going to be like, well, let me talk about what I did in school today, and then let me talk about my side business that I have on the side, and then talk about, we don't like to talk about the financial aspect of it, but it's crazy to me sometimes that we sit here and lay that all out for people. And I hope that I'm just like, is it a bad idea, or do people like hearing about it? Who knows? I hope you guys enjoy hearing about it. If not, then whatever, we'll talk about other more frivolous endeavors. But I don't know. This is just who we are. This is just what we like talking about.
You're just going to have to get a new guitarist in the band if that's not what we want, because I just, as a person, I'm just a very open, honest person. I don't believe in smoke and mirrors. Like, I have nothing to hide. This is who I am.
Yeah.
If your opinion on my music is altered by the fact that I have a day job versus I'm a full-time musician, then I don't really need your validation.
Oh my God, Steve, the viewership is plummeting.
I'm just being honest.
The views are dropping.
The views are dropping.
It's like your opinion of my music should be on the music itself, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter who's behind what we do in our personal lives, but yeah, it's just a real thing. Starving artists is a real thing. Like,
yeah.
Well, it doesn't need to be a real thing. That is the thing. It's like, I feel like people want us all to be starving artists, that when we're not, they're like, well, then, you know what I mean? It's like,
right.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's such a myth. Like, and you don't need to do that anymore. Like, there's no shame in paying your bills, having a car, buying a house. Like, there's no shame in wanting to do those things. And you guys, we had a whole conversation. I don't want to cut off Josh. I want you to say what you want to say. But because of Napster, and like, that was the beginning of the end, y'all. Like, we all just wanted music for free, and now we have it. And now our artists just sit here in our living rooms talking to their cameras instead of making a living out playing shows. So you did this. What were you going to say, Josh?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, it's just not the same day and age as somebody that drops out of high school and just risks everything to become a star. I mean, things were just different then.
Even then,
everything
that is such an anomaly. Like, even then, like, you hear that story, and those overnight successes do not exist. No. It's always somebody who's still been trying for like 10 something years, where probably 1 million people tried for 10 years. And then that was the one person that made it. So it's still a very slim chance.
And you don't even know all the odds and ends. Like, what's more marketable, a book or an article about somebody who works at McDonald's 5 days a week and then plays gigs on the weekend, or somebody who dropped out of school when they were a sophomore in high school and lived on the streets and then just got huge. Like it's a story too,
Right.
You don't know really. There's
Well, the
definitely
stories
smoke and
of like
mirrors.
working the day jobs and all that, like people like that after you're famous.
Yeah,
Once you're
yeah.
famous, it's cool to like listen to those interviews and be like, "Oh, Michael Keaton used to, work
Bartend or
at
whatever.
Steak and Shake."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
for real.
it's like
Nobody wants
everybody
to hear it now. They want to
because it
believe that
brings
you are an overnight
humanity to
success.
you. But yeah, like right now, the record labels don't want to hear that, or the like people you're trying to work with or market it, they don't want to hear that. They just want you to be successful.
So
Yeah.
I have a story to tell. So when I used to bartend at the Coyote Ugly, I got mugged. Okay, so like my purse got stolen. And anyway, and it was whatever. Somebody stole my purse through my car window. It wasn't like I got held at gunpoint or anything like that. My car was open, driving through a bad neighborhood. Some guy came over to ask if we could give him directions and just reached in and grabbed my purse off my lap. Like that was what happened. It was super traumatizing. Luckily, like I still to this day will not roll down my window. Like I will not, if somebody approaches the car, no, I don't even care if you're a mother with 3 kids in tow. I'm not opening my window for you because that just scarred me for life, right? So I get mugged, and the next day I go to work and I'm like, I have to replace my purse, the money that was in it. I had tons of cash because I was bartending, my wallet, brand new camera, like all this stuff that I had in my purse. So we had these tip buckets, you know what I mean? And they put on there like, oh, tip me, I was robbed or whatever. And so they really came together for me and things like that. So that was something that was like, okay. And then I started working at Coyote Ugly in Nashville, and I was having, I think it was like car problems, like major car problems. I needed like a $2,000 repair. So I get on the microphone and I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, who wants a body shot? Who wants this, that, or the other? I was like, you better tip big tonight because like I need a new transmission. And the bosses there were like, do not say that. Nobody wants to hear that. No, don't talk about your blah. Don't talk about that.
Nobody wants the sob story.
Nobody wants a sob story. Like nobody wants to hear like, hey, like I just, need to put gas in my car this weekend. Like hit me, nobody wants to hear that. If you're, a coyote, they're like, okay, well, we had funny tip jars that were like, oh, sex recovery fund or something. What was it? Like sexual addiction recovery fund or something. Like they had these like goofy names, but man, I'll never forget that. They ripped the mic away from me. They were like, don't talk about that. And I was like, okay, but I'm just being real with these people. I'm just being honest. Like, and when you're a bartender, you get your regulars. So it's like, I feel like I can be like, hey, I probably would make a lot of money tonight if I told people I needed $2,000 for a transmission. I would probably get it tonight.
Yeah.
There'd probably be somebody coming to the bar. They'd be like, you know what, girl, here you go. Like, I don't really think that people care that much, but maybe they do. I don't really know. Nobody wants anybody who looks desperate. Like, we don't want to look desperate. We don't want to look like, we're just honest with you guys. Like, you guys want us to tour. You want us to make music and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, well.
I mean, I can understand it being too much sometimes. Like watching those like competition shows that I love, some of them, they get way too heavy on each competitor's
sob
like
story.
And it's like,
yeah.
man, I just want to like root for you based on your like craft. Like I don't want to feel guilty that I need to like root for you because your baby has a meth problem and like
Damn.
square wheels on the
wait, baby meth addicts. That's a good band name.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we're gonna take a housekeeping break real quick because we ran really long on the topic because it was stimulating. It was great. So real quick, this is where we cut the commercial on the podcast, but for all of you watching and listening, you get to listen to us ramble live. There's not a whole lot this week other than we're going to obviously keep shouting out our Patreon. If you're not a patron already, it'd be great if you joined up and hung out with us. There's a lot of fun behind the scenes stuff we've been posting, like TJ mentioned earlier. She gave you the very rough scratches and demos of songs for our upcoming album. There's a behind the scenes video for the music video we just shot. Um, this month, every month we have a prize for our producer tiers, and this month we're giving the prize to everyone, and it is a signed print of one of the new photos from the photo shoot we just did, which is up there on the Patreon. You can see the photo. We posted it in our Discord. Um, so if you'd like to, for this month, get that signed print, go ahead and pop on over there and sign up or upgrade to one of the producer tiers like Gil Mello did, who just yesterday signed up for the Dead Executive Producer tier. So we really appreciate him, and Alex subscribing recently, and Just Alex subscribed recently. So we really appreciate everybody that's part of that. It's helping fund the acoustic record, as well as making us able to do these streams every week and come up with new merch and all kinds of stuff for y'all. So pop on over there. And speaking of producers, we also like to give a special shout out on our live streams for those who just are extra generous and feel like throwing a little extra into the pot. We realize that not everybody can, and that's okay, and every little dollar helps. So we love our dollar tiers and everybody. But our producers, since they dug a little deeper, we like to give them an extra thanks. And so this month, our producers are our brand new Gil Mello, Paul Chiaffi, Craig Karen, Derper, Doug Saxon, Ninja, Yaroslav, Craig, John K&C, Bobby, and Bill Ford. So we really appreciate all of you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We know some of you guys are watching today, so thank you so much. Also, thank you to everyone who is following us on Twitch and subscribe to us on Twitch. We appreciate that as well.
Twitch subscriptions. Yeah, if you don't have the funds to pledge to Patreon, we totally get that. But hey, just hanging out on the streams with us, following us on our social media, following us on YouTube,
and also like just
Twitch.
Patrick said, I think everyone should just buy your albums because they're great. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah, it is really good. We've got a streaming, iTunes, you can buy it digitally. Merch now, Bandcamp, you can buy.
The nearlydeads.merchnow.com has physical copies. I believe they have records. We have a ton of records. We need to do a fire sale and get rid of those puppies. But because everyone loves vinyl, and our vinyl sounds really good. But Kingdom Hearts Gamer asks if Spotify or YouTube Music pays us, and yes, we do make money off the music. I will just say it is it's not like anything that 5 people could make a living on. That's all I'll say. It's not that much money.
It's our biggest source of income does come from Spotify and streaming platforms, but that's only because people stream now instead of buying records.
Exactly.
Like if people still bought records, we would make more money off that streams. But and we're not saying this as people who are anti those things. Like I have Spotify, and I stream Netflix and all these things. So streaming services are great and they're convenient.
And it gets our music heard by people all over the world, which is an amazing thing. It's the reason that we're here today. It's the reason we've had fans, YouTube and Spotify, and just people discovering us every day. We're so grateful for all of you guys for your support. And, if you can join the Patreon, even better, because you get more content and more stuff.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think that pretty much covers it on housekeeping. This is the last stream of the month, because I believe next Wednesday is the 1st. or second.
Ooh.
So September. So you have
Mhm.
1 week to sign up for a producer tier if you want to sign print sent to your house. So get on that, and then we'll have a different prize for next month. Um,
Pretty cool.
so yeah, we're just gonna keep writing and working on content, and that's about it for updates. So we got a little bit of time left. So if y'all want to throw in some questions for us in the group chat, uh, ask us anything. Ask us about the band. Ask us about what's going on in the world. If you just want to talk about the latest and greatest movie you just saw, your favorite TV show, we're all dorks. We're into that here. If we need another condiments battle, if you want to make us vote between A or B topics, send them out here for us. But I'm going to get it kicked off for us with two topics. I'm going to kick it off with two topics while we wait for you to throw your questions up there. Number one is Josh and they just revealed the Spider-Man Multiverse trailer, and us being Marvel fans are pretty hyped. So I'm going to need to get Josh's reactions on that. And then the second topic I'll throw out there is I was thinking about this the other day because I had a friend of mine in town and we were hanging out and we were killing some time. So we popped on my Xbox and we played The Ascent, which had local co-op, so we could split screen play together with multiple controllers. And it got me thinking, it's like so many things now are online, like to play with other people, you have to play online. And so I wanted to know everybody's favorite way to play games because online gaming seems to be the most popular nowadays. But I also really miss the days of split screen where everybody's kind of hanging out, sitting on the couch. You got some Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers, some GoldenEye. You're all hanging out and doing that. Or if you just prefer to play on your own, because honestly, outside of couch co-op with my friends, I could tend to play single player games myself. I'm not super social with video games, so everybody in the chat, let us know what's your favorite way to play games: online with your friends, online in your house, together in the same room, or by yourself. So while we're getting those answers and questions, Josh, Spider-Man,
Oh.
what does this do for you?
Well, it's safe to say that I freaked out.
Is it also safe that your camera is only from your shoulders up?
What do you mean?
You know what I'm saying.
Are
With
you?
that
Oh,
video.
oh, is that is that an M-rated joke, Steve?
Innuendo there, Josh.
Yeah, that an X-rated joke, Steve?
Did that trailer take you from 6 to midnight, Josh? Is that
Oh,
what happened here?
100%. I mean,
Wow.
listen, how could it not though? It's like it almost doesn't even feel like it's real, like that it's really happening, because it's one of those things that for years you've just been like, man, what like a dream, but a studio would never actually do that. Now, I mean, obviously, like from the trailer, there's been a lot of big things confirmed, and I'd have to say Green Goblin being probably the one I'm most hyped about, just because I already knew about Doc Ock,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much been confirmed it's William Dafoe, which is all I want in life is him to be Green Goblin again. Uh, but I watched like some reaction videos and then watched the trailer like 100 times. So of course it looks like Sandman. We already know Electro's in it. But there's
Wait, they're
like,
bringing Sandman back? I didn't even notice that.
well, it looks like, so if you watch it, there's like Electra's lightning and it looks like sand around it. And then
Oh yeah.
there's actually a really quick scene where it shows the lizard too behind Spider-Man. And now with all that, it's kind of blowing my mind that it's a teaser trailer. I mean, it's literally the teaser. And they've been
And
saying
it's
like,
packed.
yeah, it's, I mean, it's crazy. And like, so they've been saying there's so much more too. Uh, and of course, one of the big ones everybody's hoping for is Toby and Andrew, which at this point, I feel like how could they not be in it some shape or form, with
Right. Well,
basically.
they've been talking about that and teasing that forever, but I was surprised not to see anything in the trailer. But I guess
See,
they're keeping it close to the chest.
yeah,
I do like the premise though. Like it was kind of interesting to me because like after that second movie, now the world knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and
yeah,
not having that incognito or you know his personal life is now out there in the open, and it's hard for him, and so him wanting everybody to forget who he was. I was like, that's kind of a cool premise as far as like Doctor Strange tearing open the multiverse. But
yeah. It's a great reasoning to how it happens. I really, which I guess it was a comic, but it's different in the comic. Like he makes a deal with the devil basically. I can't remember the character's name, but people are
then
speculating
they had
that
a fiddle battle or like
yeah, and
a
then he
guitar riff
in
battle.
down in Georgia, yeah. Um, but so people are speculating that maybe Strange isn't who he says he is either, but that could be far fetched from what I've been reading. But I don't know. I mean, it's pretty wild though.
Yeah, I'm super hyped. Clearly, TJ is. She's with that big yawn.
That yawn.
I
So
don't know what
excited.
it is about these live streams. I didn't miss the time of day or just like I'm just sitting here and like my computer like lulls me, but I yawn so much during these. Maybe I'll just bore me when you talk. I don't know. I'm just
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
Spider-Man bores you.
Hey, if you think that's boring, let's talk about Sonic.
no, we're gonna
Sonic.
answer the viewer questions. We're gonna answer.
Yeah.
What's
um,
your favorite food combo with peanut butter? Go. Lightning round.
Oh, Reese's
wait.
chocolate.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, chocolate. Okay, so like a
Yeah.
Reese's. Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I just peanut butter is like one of my favorite things. I love it,
This is
and
the lightning round, dude.
it's hard for me to decide. I got anxiety. You go first while I narrow it down.
I mean, I was gonna say jelly, but then you said fucking Reese's, and I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
clearly the one.
Um,
That's
yeah,
clearly it. Chocolate and
Yeah.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
Or like, oh man, peanut butter ice cream, or like peanut butter
Ugh,
cookies.
I know.
peanut butter
And peanut butter and
pie.
jelly is
Peanut
fantastic
butter and
too.
jelly is great. Well, we thought we were
Yeah.
going to get hit by a hurricane, so we bought peanut butter and jelly just in case our power went out.
Ah.
We couldn't cook or something. But then it was like nothing. So now I have a giant thing of peanut butter and jelly, and I never eat peanut butter and jelly. Also, when we're on tour, that is a big part of our meals is peanut butter and
Yes.
jelly.
Oh yeah.
Because
I
you don't
like
need
it
to
with peanut butter
refrigerate
and
it.
jelly. And
Yeah.
honestly, I have peanut butter, and that's probably the only time I ever use it is for peanut butter and jelly. Or I used to use it to give the dogs medicine because they wouldn't just eat it. But I am a fan of the peanut butter and jelly, but then potato chips in there
Oh.
to give it a little crunch, to
Hmm.
add some texture and a little saltiness, But I mean, you
Interesting.
can't do weird flavors. It's just got to be like a Lay's, like either baked or traditional Lay's, just salty, crispy potato chip.
Yum.
Hmm.
Also, Doug said peanut butter and honey. I love that. Toast with
Oh
some peanut butter and
yes,
just
Mhm.
honey. Just
crunchy peanut butter and
yes.
honey
Yeah.
Crunchy. Okay, so crunchy or smooth, right? Crunchy is clearly the superior.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I
Especially if
mean,
you're an
if you
adult.
want to
Like
get
if you're not 5, like you get crunchy peanut butter. People get the all natural crunchy peanut butter. Don't be eating
Yeah,
Skippy
we're gonna
and
be
shit
those
when you're an
people.
But
Get the
adult.
now,
You're
organic, get the
grown.
organic.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
We're not
about
gonna stir
organic.
the oils in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like
my?
you got to get the good shit if you're not 5 years old.
I mean, my only thing though is creamy when it comes to like apples or celery or carrots or
I
something.
mean,
Oh,
you're
for
not
dipping,
wrong.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
And
because
it's
so
hard
that's
to
the
go
yeah,
wrong with
crunch.
Jif.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
crunchy
Oh,
peanut
Jif,
butter,
yeah.
you know how it kind of like also melts? Like if you put the crunchy that all natural shit too, you stir it up as much as you can, but you still put it on an apple and it just slides right off.
Yeah.
Like, so you're not wrong. You got to have the sugar
Yeah.
added to keep it together, to put it on. Ooh, yeah, that sounds so good. I'm going to get right off and have some peanut butter.
I need to divert back to the chat and bring up Kingdom Heart Gamer here. Are you answering this question saying that sour gummy worms you eat with peanut butter? Or are you just saying you like that food?
What?
That is a weird one. I
Never
mean,
heard
I
that.
I
heard
think they
recently
eat them. I think they eat them on top of their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, I don't know.
That sounds a lot.
I mean, I guess it'd be. I mean, jelly's sweet, peanut butter, but sour. I don't know if sour goes with it.
Yeah,
but I
explain
could be
yourself.
wrong. I heard recently a thing people like peanut butter and pickle sandwiches, which sounds odd to me, but
I don't know.
God.
but I will
I just
try
winced
everything once.
harder than I've ever winced before. I've got pickles in my fridge, and there's no way in hell am I getting it anywhere near peanut butter. That sounds nasty.
You keep them in separate areas of the house.
Yeah, one's in the fridge and the other one's in the pantry.
Yeah.
Pickle people are. I'm just gonna go out there and say it. They're weird, right? People who
I
just.
love pickles.
I mean, I do
love
like pickles. Yeah.
I love pickles. I'm not like a person who picks it off. I love pickles, but I'm not a pickle person, right? I don't want to pickle back. I don't want to put pickles on my pizza. I don't want to put pickles on my peanut butter sandwich. Like, those people are weird.
Yeah. Let's see. Patty was responding to the question I brought up earlier, and said, "I'm biased because I met my new friend of girl."
Patty has a girlfriend.
K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
Yes.
Tree.
Good for you.
But he said he met her through gaming online, but online games are my go-to 80% of the time anyway. So Patty is an online gamer over anything else. I think that's cool that you met your girlfriend on there, because I think it's great to have a shared interest in a relationship. I'd like to date a gamer girl.
I mean,
Josh, what are you, an online, a solo
slide
gamer,
into those
or a
DMs.
couch co-op?
Slide into those DMs, Steve.
So if it's multiplayer, couch co-op all the way. I just love even if it's just a nostalgic factor, I just love like sitting next to somebody, sitting next to your buddy, and like a couch like campaign co-op would be super fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely prefer like the solo gaming. You know me, I'm a completionist, so I like to take my time, explore every crevice of whatever game I'm playing.
I don't think you should
never
say completion and crevice in the same
sentence. that went sexual. You
I'm
would
keeping
never.
It. I'm not re-saying it.
You would never finish Animal Crossing. It is the worst game for completionists, because you can physically not get every item unless you travel to like strangers' islands and trade with them, and like or you purchase the items, like physically like pay money for them. Like, I don't know, that game when you go to your little store, you only get like one color for everything. But then you go to somebody else's island, you're like, oh, you have the pink version of this chair? I didn't even know it came in pink. And then you got some asshole online that's like, oh yeah, it comes in 6 colors. I have all 6. Who wants to buy them?
Oh, wow.
It's like crazy the amount of items and stuff you can get on Animal Crossing. Like, you would, and I don't know. There are a lot of completionists out there that play Animal Crossing, and it's just like,
wow.
No.
Well, even like the Pokemon, like having to catch every single one of them through all the generations and everything.
Yeah, that's
Did you guys
crazy.
see Jordan's pull the other day? He pulled this like awesome card. It's worth like a ton of money, and he's like stoked on it.
Nerd.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm right there with you, Josh. I think they all definitely have their merits. Like, online gaming is probably the thing I do the least, but I enjoy it because, you know, a lot of my friends live in different states. My brother lives in another country, so I think it's fantastic that we can play video games online, and it's a fun way to interact and hang out with them if I don't get to see them. And then couch co-op, like, I just have so many memories of just like growing up and going through Halo campaigns, playing Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart with my friends until the late hours of the night. Um, Sometimes until the sun came up the next day. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of nostalgia there, and I love that aspect. But I think for me now, I think ultimately video games, I tend to be a solo gamer mostly because it's kind of an unwind hobby for me. I'm a pretty social person. I like going out, being around people. We do band stuff, and um, whether it's work, hanging out, or this that, we're always interacting with people, and so sometimes I just want to wind down, not talk to anybody, and just like a video game's just like a good escape. It takes you to a different world. I can, pop into Skyrim. I can pop in some, have this power fantasy that I'm just this awesome archer and
Yeah.
going through this thing. And you just kind of escape into it, decompress. So I think I tend to be more of a solo gamer these days. Looking to see in the chat if anybody else is popping in.
Oh, Mike Vincent said if you were given a plate of wings so spicy you needed to sign a release before eating them, would you do it? No.
I wouldn't, but there's a weird part of me that wants to do like the hot ones challenge. You know that you like the YouTube show?
Yeah, they were like
where it goes from like mild to hot, but it gets like crazy hot. But I'm not a fan of like that kind of spice. It's just like the novelty of it. I'd like to experience it, even though I know it'd be pain. But
maybe when I was a kid, but here, chat, I'm in my 30s here, and like I love spicy food, but I just can't do it anymore. Like I love spicy food.
I don't want heartburn.
No, like it will give me indigestion. It will like wreck my
just
stomach.
ruin my day.
It's certain spicy things. Like I love Hattie B's. Hattie B's, like Nashville hot chicken, tastes delicious, but I just cannot eat it. Partially because I don't eat fried food anymore. So if I do eat something fried, it's greasy. It'll mess with me. But we always joke that Hattie B's, it's like you order it to go and then you sit on the toilet and eat it because that's the they deliver it
God.
to you. You gotta eat it.
You guys are so gross. You have not only talked about that, you had the completion joke and then the 12 to 6 joke or the 6 to 12 joke.
I mean,
like, you guys are just
I mean,
God.
I know we tell, mother
we have devolved.
Mother approved, whatever kid. What are we?
Kid tested, mother approved. That used to be like our thing, approved. Like kicks, because like dads and moms like love us, and so do their kids.
But here's the thing: this is 10 years later than Nearly Dead. So the kids are now old enough to hear this kind of content.
Yeah,
right. The kids have kids. So our original fans are now grandparents.
We're just educating them at this point, and it's for me. I don't feel like it's being gross as a public service announcement. It's like you should try Hattie B's. It's amazing, but just realize you don't want to do it before a movie or a concert or.
Okay, so Mike said that Hot Ones was the inspiration for the question, and that they buy all the sauces from the show. That's awesome.
Also, funny. They actually have it. Yeah, that's awesome. Like I would like to experience it, maybe.
We should do our own version of it because we're not famous, that we would never land on that show, at least not for a while anyway. We should just do our own.
Yeah.
And it should just be Josh eating everything.
I know, that's the thing. Like YouTube would not do it. I wonder if Javi would do it.
I mean, I don't mind spicy stuff. I know the premise of Hot Ones, but do you start at like a fucking 10? No. Don't they like move up?
No, it's just like a traditional like hot sauce. So I'd assume the first one would be spicy.
Yeah.
But like the big one that
you work your way up to like the ghost pepper shit. You don't start on an 11. You start at like a 1 and then you move your way up. So I think that would be fun to do as a band.
And count me out. I don't want to sweat. I don't want to sweat.
It would be nasty.
Have a tiny amount of the hot sauce, though, right? To at least say that you tried it. No,
I guess I don't know. Maybe it'd have to be the tiniest amount. But some of those are so hot. Even
Yeah.
the littlest thing will just wreck you.
Yeah, because I
I
know
don't know
some
why
of.
people do that to themselves. Like my dad would always tell us me, my brother, and my dad would like, compete on who could have more hot sauce in their food. And my dad would give us Tabasco, be like, put it on, it'll put hair on your chest. And I'm like, now at like 30, I'm like, will this put hair on my head? Like, does it work that way too? Like,
Oh shit.
That was funny.
On that note, I think it's time we wrap up. This was a fun
Yes.
stream, you
Cool.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys all so much for watching us and for streaming our music, for buying our music online, and of course for joining us on Patreon. We're all over the place. Please follow us on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, like wherever else we are. We love spending time with you guys every week. We love that you appreciate how real we get and how much we talk about the ins and outs of the music business and of our inspirations as humans. And we love you guys. Any other final thoughts, Steve, Josh?
No, just we hope you hang out with us again. Like TJ said, almost every week, more weeks than not, and on Wednesdays.
Sometimes we
So,
take a week off. Sometimes we have family
Yeah.
shit to take care of. Sometimes we're busy.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
happens.
absolutely.
It's life.
Yeah.
But we're on here a lot, most Wednesdays, and we love hanging out. So
Yeah, it's super fun. Thank you all. I love each and every one of you equally.
And he wants to couch co-op with you,
And I want the couch co-op and
with
complete.
everyone, and to
Never
completion.
mind.
To completion.
Complete it.
I mean, anyway, this reminds me of a quick story to send us off, because Steve said something about most Wednesdays, which you're right. There's this place I order lunch from that you get soup, like it's a soup and sandwich place. And
Mhm.
on the menu, it says, like, whatever, bowl of soup. And in parentheses, it says, usually served with toast. End parentheses. And that's the whole story.
Usually.
Like,
usually
what does that
Wow.
mean?
they run out of bread, I guess. I wonder
It's
if they
a
make fresh
panini
bread.
place. Like, they don't run out of bread, right? Like,
That's
I don't
weird.
I don't know. I went to Taco Bell one time, and they're like, "We're out of beef, cheese, and lettuce." And I'm like, "What do you got left? Is it
What?
tortillas? You just gonna roll a
Tortillas.
tortilla?"
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Well, the other day I tried to go to Taco Bell because I was out at a job, and they were like, "This location is only for Uber and whatever." I was in the drive-thru
Oh.
and I was like, "But
What?
your kitchen's open. If you're making food for Uber, like, why can't you make me a taco? I'm in the drive-thru. I'm hungry."
Wait,
Was
do you
there a
guys?
sign somewhere that was like Grubhub only or Uber Eats only?
No, not that I could see. There weren't very many cars in the parking lot, but
I would have just
Wait.
lied. I would have been like, yeah, I'm Uber. No, because they get their orders from the Uber
Yeah.
Eats people. So they would see. Well, that's
Did you-
bullshit.
Do you guys remember? I know we got to end this, but do you guys remember being on tour and going to like McDonald's afterwards and trying to order, and she was straight up just like, "We don't have hamburgers." Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, McDonald's doesn't have hamburgers.
We're like,
Man.
what?
Yeah.
We were like,
That was funny.
Is this a joke? A funny prank?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
funny.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun chatting with everybody. We will see you next week, and have a great night, everyone.